It is now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by First Southern Bank, Murphy Builder Supply, Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings, and O'Quinn & Associates Country Financial.
Hi, I'm Mandy Yeomans.
And I'm Raymond Brown with First Southern Bank. As your locally owned community bank, we're here to help our community grow. Our customers are why we are here. You can tell we want your business.
We offer all types of deposit products, personal and business. We have fast, efficient service, and yes, we have online banking too. I'm sure we have an account to fit your needs. Stop by or call us at 912-588-1010 and see how First Southern Bank can help you.
We're FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jessup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you know you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup.
Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings restaurant in Jessup is now open for business, practicing social distancing, but still serving that great food that Damon's is famous for. Come inside or come through the drive-thru, but Damon's is open inside and welcomes back its customers. The menu's the same, the service is fast, and the food is fantastic, and the sauces remain the same, mild, wild, insane, or inferno. The number is the same, 588-WING, 588-9464. Damon's Restaurant on West Cherry Street in Jessup, dining room now open for business. Come on in and enjoy a great meal today.
Most people understand the need for life insurance, but not many want to talk about why it's essential to your financial plan. It may seem intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. Don't get overwhelmed. Get started with Country Financial. Call me, Sean O'Quinn, today at 588-1051 and let me work with you to find life insurance that gives you the protection you need at a price you can afford.
Life insurance policies issued by Country Life Insurance Company and Country Investors Life Assurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
The following is an exclusive presentation of Jessup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show right here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jessup. And Bob, welcome back into the studio, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit here. But on the phone with us right now is Congressman Buddy Carter. And Bob, take it away.
Well, we thought it would be important to have Congressman Carter on to get his thoughts on what's taking place over in Afghanistan. Yesterday, tragedy struck Buddy. So just first of all, just give us your thoughts on what's been taking place the last several days and what took place yesterday.
Well, first of all, our hearts go out to the 13 Marines who gave their life yesterday. And now we have 13 Gold Star families in our country. So first of all, I just want to pay respect to them. I also want to say this, Bob, before I go any further. To those who may be listening who are Afghanistan veterans who served in Afghanistan, I want them to understand, I want to make sure they know that their service and that their sacrifice was not in vain. They kept us safe for 2 decades, for 20 years. They are our heroes, and we thank them for that. We've had a number of veterans call our office who are really struggling right now because of what's going on. Just because we had a botched exit does not mean that your service, that your sacrifice was in vain. It was not. You are truly our heroes, and we appreciate your service, and we appreciate your sacrifice. Bob, this has been an unmitigated disaster, and it did not have to happen. It should not have happened, but it has happened. There was no planning, there was no foresight, and what happened here is that this is Joe Biden's Saigon moment. This is Saigon on steroids. And the longer it goes on, the worse it gets. We still have Americans over there. We should not leave until every American, until every Afghanistanian who helped us, and interpreter or whatever, and helped us and wants to come and get out of that country, we should not leave until we get them. Now, the president has set this date of August 31st, and the Taliban evidently is going to hold him to it. I don't care if it's the 31st, August 31st next year. Every American has to get out of there.
You know, it is just
I tell you, it is the worst foreign relations debacle in the history of our nation.
Yeah, that seems to
I'm
be
convinced of that.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that seems to be the issue that a lot of people have is this August 31st deadline. The question is, why isn't the deadline the deadline will be when we get everybody out that needs to get out? Why don't we hear that from the president? That's what everybody wants to understand. Why is he sticking to the August 31st deadline? You have any idea why he's stuck on that?
I don't have any idea why he's stuck on it. The Taliban is saying that they're going to make him adhere to it because that's what they agreed to. And that's what he said initially. But there shouldn't be a deadline. The only deadline should be when every American is out of there safely. And, that's the problem, too. In the press conferences and when we've had member calls, briefings, they don't know how many people are left over there. I mean, we've heard numbers from 1,500 to 4,100 Americans still over there. They don't even know the accurate count. And they're telling us, I have to be quite honest with you, and I have to be very careful because we've had security briefings that, I don't want to repeat anything, but I will tell you that the numbers don't match up. What they're telling us in the security briefings and what we're hearing publicly, the numbers don't match up. So that causes a lot of confusion among members of Congress.
When I was watching yesterday and saw that we lost 13 soldiers, all I could think about is if you had a family member over there, a soldier over there, and you're somewhere here in the United States, how do they get notified of that, buddy? Is it like you see in the movie, somebody from the military shows up at your door, or do you get a phone call? I mean, I just can't imagine that call or that visit for those families. But how does that take place? Do you know?
Bob, I really don't know for certain. I do know that, and I would encourage anyone who has got a loved one or someone they're trying to get out of the country to contact our office. And you can call our office. We'll work on it. We have direct communication with the State Department. So we'll be glad. And we're working on probably 20 or 25 right now, still trying to get them out. And that's just our office. So you can imagine if you compound that times 435 members of the House, I mean, it's a lot more than what they're telling us.
I still remember as a child watching nightly news, Ted Koppel, the Iran hostage situation. And then from that point all the way up to now, all I've ever heard from the United States is we don't negotiate with terrorists. And here we are in bed with the Taliban, pretty much having to work with them. I mean, what's that about, buddy? I mean, how do we trust the Taliban when we fought with them for the last 10 years?
That's a great point. And last night we had a Republican conference call. And keep in mind now that we've got a number of Afghanistan veterans that served with us in Congress. Dan Crenshaw lost an eye in Afghanistan. Brian Mast lost both of his legs in Afghanistan. Those are real, true American heroes serving in Congress with us. We've got another member of Congress, Jim Baird, who was a Vietnam veteran, and he made the comment last night, and it really stuck with me because he lost an arm in Vietnam, and he served with us. He's from Indiana. But he said, it's the first time I've ever heard of our enemy serving as our security force. I mean, we hear the President of the United States saying, well, the Taliban promised us that they were going to make sure these Americans got through. Our enemy for the past 2 decades is our security force? I mean, how bizarre is that? This is a total incompetence, total ineptness. And it just gets worse and worse. The cachet of weapons that we left over there, our own weapons, $85 billion worth of weapons over there, 600,000 weapons, 75,000 vehicles, 200 aircraft, drones, Black Hawks. Now, the Taliban has more Black Hawks than Australia does.
Jeez.
They have more Black Hawks than 161 countries in this world have. And they're ours. And what do you think they're going to do with them? They're going to use them against us. They have night vision goggles. They have all of our equipment. This just gets worse and worse and worse. It's like a nightmare that you can't wake up from.
Well, Trump said on Fox News this morning, if he had still been president, he wanted to get the troops out. He had set a date, but he said that he would have gotten the civilians out first, gotten our equipment out second, and then the troops. Do you agree with that assessment that he would have done?
Absolutely. And I had an interview last night on Sirius XM, and we were talking about the fact that when Donald Trump was president, you know, when he said he was going to do something, foreign countries believed him. And to a certain extent, it was because you really didn't ever know what he was going to do. They didn't either. And when he said, if you hurt a single American, we're going to come over there and wipe you off the face of the earth, they believed him. And who wouldn't, man? I mean, you know, I believed him. But if you're an ally now of the United States, would you trust the United States to protect you? If you're Taiwan right now and the United States has been saying, don't worry about China, we're going to take care of you, well, I don't find a whole lot of security in that these days, not with Joe Biden and his administration in charge. This is the worst foreign relations debacle in the history of our nation. It is unbelievable that this has happened. And it's due to failed leadership and weak leadership. I mean, and listen, we've been getting a lot of calls in our office. Impeach Biden, impeach Biden. I agree, and I understand what they're saying, and I think this is an impeachable offense. But what's behind door B? Kamala Harris. Holy cow. And I don't mean to get political here, but I'm sorry, I can't help it. And then what's behind Kamala Harris? Nancy Pelosi. This is just awful. This is awful.
Well, he said basically late yesterday afternoon in his press conference that he got all this advice from the military folks, from the military leaders, from State Department people. This is the way to do it. He's trying to say this is why he did it this way. Was saying they all agreed upon this. Now you're up there in Washington. You're talking to military leaders. Is this the way it came down?
That's what we're being told, and Butch, that's a great point, and something I want to bring up. Why is the State Department in charge of the exit? And that's one thing we were asking in the security briefings when General Milley and Secretary of Defense Austin and Secretary of State Blinken, when they were before us, when we were up there Tuesday, and we had a security briefing, we were asking them, why isn't the State Department in charge of the exit? Why isn't the Department of Defense in charge of the exit? I don't get that at all. And all of this is being blamed on this botched exit is being blamed on the State Department because so many people were trying to get passports and to get out of the country, and they had to go through the State Department, and they were still being delayed, and that's what caused the backup of people over there, of Americans over there, and that's why we have such a buildup of people still over there at this time. I don't get it. Now, look, I didn't have the honor of serving in our military. My honor is to serve those who do serve in the military and who have served in the military. But at the same time, why? I'm just asking a simple question. Why is the State Department in charge of the exit? Why wasn't the Department of Defense? Why wasn't General Milley, Secretary Austin? Why weren't they in charge of this?
Did you just join us, Congressman Buddy Carter, on the phone with us talking about the situation in Afghanistan? Yesterday's attack, Buddy, they keep saying this group called ISIS-K is responsible. They're claiming responsibility. What is ISIS-K? Explain that to us.
ISIS-K, the K stands for core zone, and evidently that's a region in the area where this particular subsection of ISIS is located, and they are supposed to be the worst of the worst. They are supposed to be the baddest of the baddest, and they're a splinter group, if you will, of ISIS. And keep in mind, ISIS and the Taliban, they don't like each other anyway. And a lot of people are saying that the reason that ISIS did this was not only to attack America, but also to embarrass the Taliban.
I thought we got rid of ISIS now. I mean, I thought that was what we're over there for the last 10 years. I thought we pretty much destroyed all those guys, but apparently not.
Evidently, well, we didn't. And I will tell you that General Mattis, when he was still in office, he was always saying the 20 worst terrorist groups in the world are located right in this region near Kabul. This is the area that they're located in. The 20 worst terrorist groups in the world are located right in that general area there.
Congressman, do you think that the United States is going to be safer or not safer because of the way this was handled in Afghanistan, because of the way that other terrorist groups may look at the way that this was handled?
No question about it. I think our world is a much more dangerous world now than it was 2 weeks ago. and certainly than it was a month ago, and especially as it was 8 months ago. Look, I get the politics, and I understand, and I try not to be political about it, but I'm telling you, we had a safer world. And then, to hear Joe Biden say that, well, this agreement was already negotiated. I had no other choice. Excuse me? You had no other choice? What about the reversal of the policies at the southern border? We had the most secure border we've ever had under the Trump administration. You reversed those policies. What about the policies of the Keystone XL pipeline? You suspended that. You reversed that policy, and then you endorsed the Nord Stream 2 pipeline in Europe. But this is a policy that you can't reverse here? And keep in mind, Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State, who helped negotiate this withdrawal, he always points out, we had a conference call with him about 3 days ago, and he said, look, our withdrawal was conditions-based. We had in our agreement with the Taliban, if you do this, we'll do that. If you do this, we'll do that. And it was conditions-based, but the Biden administration just went in there and said, let's get the hell out of there.
What are some of your biggest concerns? We got 4 more days after today before the 31st gets here. What are some of your biggest concerns going to happen from today through August 31st there in Afghanistan?
I'm afraid there are going to be more suicide bombers. I'm afraid that there are going to be more incidents like we saw yesterday. Yesterday was a dark day in the history of our country. There's no question about that, and I'm afraid we're going to see more of that.
In yesterday's news conference with President Biden, he answered different questions and gave comments and so forth, but when he was walking away from the podium out, he looks tired. I'm sure he is. He's probably put in a long hours, but he just looked tired. Did you get that assessment, or is that just his normal movement?
No. No. I've never seen him look as bad as he looks now. And look, we need leadership right now. We need our president to step up and lead this country. We are in danger now. You realize they have our weapons. We left our weapons there, and they have that. And they're going to attack our homeland. The number one responsibility of the federal government is to protect our homeland. We did that for 20 years. We fought that battle over in Afghanistan instead of fighting it over here. It's fixing to come to us.
Okay. And with all they have all those weapons that were left there. I know that Nancy Pelosi said, "Well, that just happens when you have a withdrawal." Did you hear those comments from her?
I've heard those comments from her. I've heard those comments from other members of the administration. That it's unbelievable that somebody could actually say that, and somebody could ever actually believe that. I'm struggling with. I have to be quite honest with you. And as you know, General Austin's a Georgia boy. He's from Thomasville, and I voted in favor of allowing him to serve as Secretary of Defense, even though he had not been out of the Army for the required period of time that he was supposed to be. I didn't think that. And in all fairness, I also voted for Mattis to be able to do that as well. But it bothers me that Milley and Austin aren't standing up and saying, this is wrong, and I'm not going to be a part of this.
After the 31st, there'll still be Americans left over there. They'll, and of course, folks that have helped the Americans while we've been there for the last 20 years. And President Biden said that we will continue to work to get the Americans and our supporters out of Afghanistan after we leave on August 31st. As a congressman, have you been briefed on how that's going to happen?
We've had some talks about it in our security briefings, and I believe that they are sincere, that they're going to continue to try and get some of those and get Americans out of there. Yes.
Okay. I just wondered how that was going to work. President Biden kept saying, well, it's not that he trusts the Taliban. He just knows that their self-interest is some of our interests, and that's the reason why he's putting some confidence in them to help us, because it'll be in their best interest. But I was wondering how it's going to be in their best interest once we pull out on August 31st, when there's really nothing that we can really do about it then, is there?
there's not a whole lot we can do about it, and then it really gets. This is such a deep hole. You know, when I first went into the Georgia State Legislature, the first thing they taught us is when you're in a hole, quit digging. And it just seems like this is a hole that they just keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper. Now you run into what we are very concerned about in Congress and what has been discussed in some of the security briefings, and that is, are we going to send them money in order for them to do these kind of things?
That has been a lot of comments I've heard about that. You know, are they going to hold hostages where we got to send them money? People have talked about that.
I'm not naive enough to believe, neither are you, that that's not going to happen.
Well,
this is horrible.
Yeah, it's a terrible situation. We wish that the Americans that are still there and our supporters in Afghanistan, we hope they can get out safely over the next 5 days, and then hopefully after that. But I know that's something that y'all get daily briefings on. Is that true, Congressman?
Yes, we do. We get briefings from the White House, and usually we've had a number of member calls over the past week. In the past few days during this week, we've had, almost one a day. And there's been a couple of days that we hadn't had some, but we do have a daily members call. And, they allow a little bit of time for questions, but not nearly enough time for everybody to get their questions in.
What was your thoughts about the two congressmen just kind of sneaking off and going over there and meeting with the troops and the powers to be over there on their own?
Well, I thought that was a dumb move on their part, because you have to keep in mind, whenever two members of Congress show up, then all of a sudden you got to pull resources away from what's going on the ground to make sure that they're okay and to protect them. And I thought that was somewhat selfish on their part. I like Seth fine. I like Peter. They're both good guys. But at the same time, I thought that was a very dumb move, and it took away resources that could have been better used elsewhere.
Well, buddy, again,
I've got one more question for everybody. Buddy, off Afghanistan, you had stated that you wanted to run for U.S. Senate, but you wouldn't do it if Herschel Walker put his hat in the ring. He did. You've put your support behind him. What is your thoughts and feelings about Herschel Walker running for Senate?
Well, I'm excited. I think Herschel's going to be a great candidate. He believes in family. He believes he's a very faithful person, and he believes in freedom. He's a great American who I think is going to do a great job as our United States Senator. We need a conservative Republican in that seat. Raphael Warnock represents the values of the state of Georgia about like the man on the moon. Herschel Walker can win, and he will win, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Anything else on your mind that you want to comment on this morning, Congressman Carter?
Well, again, I want to stress how thankful we are to those veterans who served in Afghanistan. We thank all of our veterans, period. However, those who served in Afghanistan, we really want to make sure you understand that your sacrifice, your service was not in vain. You protected us, and you kept us safe, and we thank you for that.
All right. Well, Congressman Buddy Carter, we appreciate you very much taking time out of your busy schedule to call here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. We wish you a good and blessed day.
Okay. Bob, I hope you feel better, man.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. All right, Congressman Buddy Carter here on Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO, 105.5 FM in Jessup. And, Bob, once again, thanks to the Congressman for calling in this morning.
Like I said, I just thought it'd be good to get his thoughts on what's taking place over there. Him being up in Washington, like I said, he gets briefed every day, but it seems to be a mess over there. And yesterday was just a tragic day. And like I said, the fear is that we're going to see more of those days in the next several days because that's all
Well,
ISIS.
I hope they can keep the security in there where they don't allow vehicles that could just drive through like there. And both of them were with the suicide bombers. They drive a vehicle in there, and then suddenly, boom, there it goes. So you have to have things a little more tighter, I guess.
Well, the scariest thing, like I said, we're relying on our enemy to help us. So I mean, that's what I can't grasp my head around. But that's just me. But we do appreciate the Congressman calling in and being on the world famous Butch and Bob Show. Again, Friday Night Football, looking forward to that. Wayne County, Pierce County. Hope to see a good crowd out there. Support the Yellow Jackets. Tickets will be available at the gate. And I think you can get a ticket in advance at Sheffield's today and also Wayne County Outfitters if you want to get a ticket in advance. So
Sheffield's and Wayne County Outfitters?
Have the tickets in advance, yes,
okay.
Sir.
All right. So Wayne County, Pierce County. After listening to and reading some things about Pierce County, they had a rough night last Friday night. with some injuries, didn't they?
Yeah, well, their star running back is injured. He's going to be out for most of the season, but they also got hit with some COVID cases, and they had some injuries during the game. So, I mean, they just –
Is that the reason why the Pierce County coach wanted the clock just to run?
He wanted to run and clock and get out of there.
He was just ready to get out of there.
Right.
Yeah.
He just didn't want any more injuries. He just thought that he just wasn't able to put up much of a fight in the game. So.
And who did they play last week?
The Brunswick Pirates.
Brunswick Pirates, okay.
The game ended up 20-13. I think it was 13-0 at halftime. That's what the shocking thing was. You don't normally get a running clock with the score that close.
Not with just 2 touchdowns.
But Pierce asked to be a running clock, and talking to the PA announcer, Kevin Price, who did the PA down there, he said that's exactly what they were told, that the clock would run during the second half. So
Pierce just wanted to get out of there.
Right.
Wasn't worth the injuries and the headache. Just wanted to get out of there.
They just thought they were handicapped with the situation. They already had players out due to COVID. Their star running back was out. They had 2 linebackers get injured in the game in the first half. So that's what they requested, and they were granted.
Well, Pierce County's a 3A school, and Brunswick's a 6A school. And so, bigger squad.
But you know that when you schedule. I mean, they are the defending state champions.
No, what I mean is the fact that, probably Brunswick's got a lot more players they can put in, and Pierce County may have said, we just need to get out of here. This is not worth it because our goal is to win the region and get in the state playoffs, So I guess that was their thoughts and feelings. Let's just get out of here and get home and get patched up, because we got the game against Wayne County tonight. So Pierce County coming up Highway 84 to this afternoon to play Wayne County. Kickoff at 7:30 at JC Stadium, and we encourage you to get out there and support the Jackets. Wear your gold and white and black and yellow and have some fun. And if you can't make it, we'll have the game for you right here on 105.5 FM starting at 7 o'clock with the pregame show with Bob and Joe. Kickoff at 7:30. And you can also listen to the game on our website, bigdogcountry.com, and just click on live stream. And no matter where you are in the world with the internet, and you can access it, you can do it.
Right.
And so, Bob, you're back in the studio, and after being in quarantine, what's quarantine like?
It's no fun. I can tell you that. You can only watch so much TV. I finally got bored and rented a movie. If you want to see a good movie, Matt Damon's Stillwater is a good movie.
Stillwater?
Yeah. His daughter's in prison in France, and he has to go over there and try to prove her innocent. So it was a pretty good movie.
Okay.
I highly recommend it if you want to see a good movie.
Okay.
But Matt Damon does a good job.
All right.
But yeah, the walls were caving in. But I said, it is what it is. You got to do what the doctors tell you to do. But I wouldn't recommend quarantine for anybody. I didn't like it.
Yeah. And I was talking to someone yesterday who has a friend that works as a nurse over in the Brunswick Hospital, and I understand that they have cleared out one complete floor of the Brunswick Hospital for COVID cases there. And so it's definitely back on the upswing, back where we were in January and February in terms of infections and deaths and so forth. And so we just encourage folks to be safe, be careful. And let's see here. The Braves will be back in action tonight. They had a couple of days off after getting, they should have won that doggone second game against New York, but they didn't. And so they take on the team, I understand, has the best record in baseball right now, the San Francisco Giants, and take them on tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday afternoon at Truist Park in Atlanta. Tonight's game will be on our AM station, Fox Sports Radio, 1370 AM The Buzz, WLOP, because we'll have Wayne County on 105.5 FM. But then the Braves will be back on 105.5 FM tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon as the Braves host the Giants.
Yeah, Braves are in good shape. 5.5 games up on the Phillies, 7.5 up on the Mets. About 33 games to go. So,
and they got to play good though. They're playing San Francisco, who has the best record in baseball. Then you play the Dodgers at LA, and LA, the talent they have.
Right.
And so with the Yankees for 2 games, and then the Giants for 3 games, and then the Dodgers for 3 games. That's a pretty rough part of the schedule right there.
Braves are in good shape. Going to win the division. Hopefully they can make it to the World Series.
Okay.
Playing well. I said they had a chance to beat the Yankees in that second game. I thought Freddie Freeman was going to be the hero, but he had a long fly ball in the gap, and they ran it down. So, but they're still in good shape. I said they'll be starting in about 2 weeks. We'll start talking magic number to clinch that division.
Yep, yes, let's hope so. So looking for the Braves winning their 4th division in a row. They won 3 years in a row. They won the Eastern Division. Let's make it 4. And they were just one game, almost one out away from going to the World Series.
Right.
This last time, just almost there. But that only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes, right, Bob?
And slow dancing.
and slow dancing. All right, so all that's going on this weekend, and then 1 week from this weekend, on Labor Day weekend, we can get all excited about college football kicking in.
College football kicks off this weekend, but
most of it.
Yeah, most of it. But I mean,
next weekend, but some of it this weekend. What's going on this weekend?
College game days. Got one of those Jacksons. They're not Alcorn State and somebody. Anyway, Dion's going to be their guest on the set. So, and Tebow is back with SEC Nation. I did check on that. So
okay.
Tebow's back with Feinbaum in the game on Saturdays as well on the SEC Network. So
okay,
he's going to be back doing his analyst job with the college football group. So
yeah, there's a few games this weekend, but the meat of it begins next weekend, Labor Day weekend. You got Georgia beginning, of course. You got Georgia Southern, who will be carrying all season long. They're beginning. Georgia Tech, which we carry on our AM station, Fox Sports Radio 1370 AM, The Buzz. And so the meat of it begin next weekend, but a few of them this weekend.
Final preseason games for the Jaguars and the Falcons this weekend, so they got to get down to the roster cut. So this is the time of year where you start looking who gets cut, because a lot of teams go on that waiver wire and pick up people they think, I'd like to have him. So
yeah,
but all these players trying to make NFL rosters.
Okay, well, Bob, it's good to have you back in the studio. I know you're looking forward to getting back to the football game tonight for live play-by-play.
Yeah, definitely ready to do that for sure.
All right, have a good day.
Okay.
All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by First Southern Bank, by Murphy Builder Supply, Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings, and O'Quinn & Associates Country Financial.